everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to day 3 of CineFix coverage here at CineFix. We are still cold, still outside.
Very cold this morning.
Still, yeah, it is like aggressively much colder this morning. The snow is being shoveled, so apologies for the scraping sounds. But the movies that we saw yesterday, T, what did you see?
I saw Roxanne, which is the biopic of Roxanne Shante, the Queensbridge MC and notorious battler. I also saw Band-Aid, which is with Zoe Lister-Jones and Adam Pally. It's about a married couple who tries to work through their marriage woes by starting a band. And then the last movie I saw was To the Bone, which has Lily Collins and Keanu Reeves, and it's about a recovering anorexic who goes to a treatment center, and I think it's like her 4th or 5th treatment center, maybe her last attempt to finally recover from her illness. The worst of the 3 I would have to say is probably Roxanne. I would probably give it maybe a 4 out of 10. I feel like it was a really missed opportunity to, tell a story that seemed worthy of telling, but the manner in which the story is told makes me question whether the story was worth telling. It feels very unresolved by the end, and perhaps that's because it's a biopic. You can't manufacture a denouement when it's based on a person's real life, so maybe that was
especially when that person's not French.
Exactly. Band-Aid I actually really, really enjoyed. I'd give that one like a 9 out of 10, I'd say.
This one looks fun. I was a little bummed that I couldn't work that one into my schedule.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. It's been a little bit polarizing here just talking to other people at the festival. Some people feel it was a little bit self-indulgent, but I can get that because it is about, sort of a creative set of people in LA trying to work through their marital woes, and it's a little bit like, where's the reality in terms of like...
Where's the Duplessis in that movie, isn't it?
I know, right? That's kind of their thing.
Yeah. It does kind of have that vibe, but
did the Duplessis know that somebody else is making their movie?
I'll give them a call.
Zoe Lister-Jones and Adam Pally have great chemistry, though, in the movie. They really do give a lot of authenticity to the scenes when they're together, and it almost makes it uncomfortable to watch to an extent because anyone who's ever been in a relationship is just like, oh, God, I've had this fight. And I think that the whole idea of it, of actually starting a band and using songs to have your fights was a really, really fun and cool idea. And I also applaud her for having an entirely female crew on this film, which is awesome because, it's not really meant to take anything away from men, but it's meant to give opportunities to women in professions and fields that they don't normally have it. So I loved that. Last but not least was To the Bone. I also did not really love this movie. I didn't really care for that one at all. I felt like it was very meandering and didn't really have much to say about the issues that the character was going through. It never really attempts to give us much insight into her own mind. It's more that we meet this character and we just kind of like follow her through these situations, but never really learn much about her and why she is the way she is, or why she even thinks she is the way she is. So I felt like it just didn't quite explore the character enough, and it was more just too situational.
This is getting late in the festival here.
Yeah.
I mean, they do front load this thing pretty hard, and we're kind of running out of movies to see. Even like the P&Is and the catch-up screenings are getting a little thin now. Yeah. I admire you, T. You're speaking of shoveling. You've seen like 45 movies in 3 days.
All of them.
It's my first Sundance-a-palooza.
Well,
I figured I should go hard.
Excited.
Go hard in the paint.
She did a great job. I only saw one yesterday, which was Nobody Speak, the Hulk Hogan and Gawker story.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, look, if there's going to be a media fight, I'm going to be right there at the fence.
Might as well have a professional wrestler in it, too.
I'm going to be right there at the fence. I have a very weird note on this one, which was it just leaned so hard toward biased toward the journalists, which I am one, and really rah-rah cheerleader, First Amendment, freedom of the press stuff. And I wish they would have just spent a couple of minutes exploring the fact that Gawker posted a sex tape of him for really no reason other than to be dicks.
Yeah, that has fuck all to do with the First Amendment, quite honestly. Like, I'm all about the First Amendment, but what does that have to do with freedom of speech?
Right, You're going after clicks for a Hulk Hogan sex tape.
And then it veers very hard into anti-Trump stuff and the First Amendment. Again, it's all stuff that's on my side, but it's just heavily one-sided that I just kind of had a problem with it, and I can't shake it. And the room went wild, and maybe you guys will really love that, but I just didn't. But anyway, that's it, and that was a wrap for me. I'm done. I think I saw.
You're on a plane here for too long.
9 movies, and I counted up not as many as I thought. 14 virtual reality experiences.
Nice.
Well, that's more than me because I had 0 of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yesterday, I went to go see a couple of movies that we've already talked about, but one of the movies that I got to see late last night was The Little Hours, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
This is a movie about 14th century nuns in, I believe, France, and a hot guy shows up. And I say France with a question mark because it doesn't matter. It's Aubrey Plaza and Alison Brie and Kate McCucci and Molly Shannon and John C. Reilly and
everybody,
Fred Armisen shows up, even down to like the supporting characters. It's Adam Pally's in it again, and then John Gabris, who's a really funny comedian, shows up there too. Like literally the entire opening credits, I recognize all of these names.
Yeah.
Like it's outstanding. Nick Offerman is there too. I mean, it's just the names.
What about
do
Chris
not
Parnell?
stop.
Is Chris Parnell in it?
Sadly, no. I would have preferred some Parnell.
Well, I rest my case.
I would have liked some Parnell, but it's a movie that takes place in 1374 or something like that. But it's done with a modern sensibility. Like the opening of the movie is Aubrey Plaza walking a donkey, through this idyllic sort of Middle Ages essentially, and then 2 seconds later she's screaming obscenities at a guy, and it is so funny. Not sure when that's going to be out or when that's going to be available
we don't really know
to
that
watch.
about anything we talk
There's
about.
literally no way to tell, but as soon as it does come out, I'm going to remind everybody to go see it again. And then the only other movie that I've seen that we haven't talked about is 7852, which is a documentary about the shower scene from Psycho. It refers to 78 setups and 52 cuts that are in that scene.
I just learned that.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been hearing about that for about 8-10 days now.
Just figuring out what it meant. But it is a really deep dive into just that particular scene.
For me, it wasn't a deep enough dive.
Well, it was very. It covered the cultural impact of the scene and what it did to filmmaking. And of Psycho overall. Where it really shined for me, the parts that I really enjoyed, they had some editors show up, including Walter Murch, who is just a legend. And they really sort of dissected every frame of the scene and look at how this cut interacts with the next cut, and that was really, really interesting. And I think our audience in particular, if you like movie lists and if you like some of the film school type shows that we do, you're going to enjoy this movie. I mean, half of it is a pretty standard. Like I took a Hitchcock class in college, and I know. I know all that stuff.
I feel like it's more like 2/3. I really wish it had been more of editors and filmmakers like going through cut by cut, shot by shot, and really like digging into it. Like there's a little taste of that, but I wanted a little bit more than a taste. I really was hoping that was going to be what this piece was, and for the most part, it's just kind of like a celebration of Hitchcock and Psycho.
Yeah, it's got guys like Peter Bogdanovich, and then guys like Guillermo del Toro, and then
like Elijah Wood
for some reason Elijah Wood is there.
Yeah. If you like Hitchcock, like if you're a Hitchcock geek, you'll probably enjoy it anyway, but it also won't necessarily be a lot of new information for you.
Okay, you're on a plane here in a few minutes.
And I can't feel my left ear now.
And we have to go to a screening right now. We're going to go see Burning Sands right now. So, and then I'm seeing Brigsby Bear, which we've already talked about, and I think that's it.
I'm seeing Crown Heights.
Oh, there we go.
That, yeah. So I got 2 more before I skip town.
Yeah. But once we
Los Angeles.
No, I understand. We're going to head back to Los Angeles as quickly as we can. Once we get back there, we're going to do a roundup of our favorite movies from Sundance. We're going to do a little bit more of a deeper dive into those. So make sure you click like and subscribe. Stick around CineFix to see that. We'll put that up probably next week sometime. But anyway, thank you for watching our Sundance coverage, and we're going to go get warm. We'll see you later. From sunny Southern California. I'm just going to leave the camera here. Let's just go.
Yeah.
I can't even keep my hands out of my pockets.
This will edit and upload itself.
This is terrible.